further in on the side, so they can't just fall back. They will have to hold the close range positions, but this does mean it's going to be hugely down to the remaining players, and Simple going to find 4 kills. Massive round with the AK.
They give him that AK and he does some serious work with it, immediately upsetting against the players from GODSENT. That's going to screw up their economy big time now because of that play.
Yeah, that is, well, it's a risky play, a hell of a risky play, but that's the sort of plays that we want to see coming out from worst players. If they can pull those off, if they can make this work, it'll be absolutely wonderful. And Simple showing why he's so renowned in this team, while everybody wants to be watching him, and how people are saying that he could take this, well, while it's basically Simple versus GODSENT, he takes 4 kills in that round, and we are going to see the progressive force buy coming out from the CT side. They're trying to get their economy going as fast as possible. We've seen rounds like this work in the past, but we have been questioning their CT side quite heavily in both of these maps so far.
It's going to bounce, misses the mark though. I think it bounces off to the corner, so won't be connecting very heavily at all in the Schneider. We're ready for this one, pushing in, Crush. Able to find that first kill. He knows more on the way as well, so he takes down Palf. Nicely done. Times the push perfectly.
Ooh.
There's Lecro though. Knows there's a big stack of them out towards long A, and he's going to be able to connect on at least one of them, eliminating Simple.
They do actually slow down their push a little bit after that one. Simple going to be going down, so no heroics for him in this round, but Crush has already given them an advantageous situation, almost makes it another. And now, well, it is actually going to be no rifles picked up, so that is something that you can say. They've actually thrown one of them away. As you can see, Fix was getting rid of one over towards the back of site, but they have slowed right down here. Twist is going to be very low. MP9, definitely not the ideal weapon when you have this little health. You need to pretty much hit the instant headshot, and even then you probably need 2 if you're coming up against head armor, which they are. But push going to be coming in slowly towards the A site. Actually, Pronax going towards long here does give him a good position to rotate back from, but it's sort of an information play, and they're just going to be able to get the free plant onto that bomb site. He will be able to come in from behind very quickly, but Philin is already ready and watching.
Yep, Pronax is going to have a rough time trying to take down Philin, and even with that, that may be the only kill he can get. This needs to be timed and called out perfectly from GODSENT if they want to have any success with this one. Although Pronax has managed to get a little bit further than Philin expects, so he's going to be able to grab that first one for free. Takes it down. Now the T's, they're both trying to hold off by Semi. They move out. They're looking for that first kill. They don't find it, however. Arch moving in, catches one. The problem is they do have Pronax quickly approaching, but Fix finds that top shot. Able to take down Lecro. In comes Pronax, but he's going to pick one up as well. Jumping onto the bomb, not sticking to it as of yet. He waits for Arch to push out, but he's going to find that kill as well. Full 10-second defuse. So this is actually going to be a little bit close, but I think he should be able to grab it. And with that, GODSENT will be finding another round.
Oh. Oh, what?
Oh, it looks like they just got it then.
That was right. You saw the face there of Pal. Oh, that was close and Simple. Can't quite believe how close that was. I would actually like to see the time. It must have been like 0.0 something, because we could hear that going off in the background. Obviously, we were looking at the face of Pal, who did give us the reaction that we had. But 2-1. GODSENT do make it work. They managed to come back with a very weak buy, just some pistols. And considering the initial entry kills coming in there, it's a little bit worrying, the fact that they weren't able to close that one out. Some nice pistol play did happen, and both teams now forced back to a bit of a sketchy buy. We have a pistol on either side, a Tech 9 and a 5.7, but which is better?
The worst players holding back now. Gonna look to try and punish GODSENT for being able to strike back, and this is exactly what we had sort of in the middle portion of our last map as well here. Twist able to hold on initially, but Simple still armed up with the AK, finds that one, almost even what? Simple catches Twist running up the steps there. He got the intel from a teammate, but even then, that's still an impressive shot. Immediately 2 kills for him, and worst players take control of the man advantage.
This guy's insane. Just the fact that the audacity to just spray straight through the wall and find that kill brings it into a 4 versus 3, and absolutely wonderful stuff. Lecro going to be in a decent position, but goes too aggressive, and Simple takes his head clean off. Another big round coming out from the man himself, and Philin will close this down with Arch by his side. 4 players survive, and after a great round coming out from the CTs, the Ts just fight straight back.
That was some impressive stuff there by Simple. Knows his team needs to take control of this one, so trades will continue. That guy put his hand in his face for some reason. He's like upset about something. Clearly a fan of GODSENT. But we will go into the 4th round, or actually the 5th round, as I believe it will be. Still looking at the replays. Some good stuff being seen there from Simple in that round. And unfortunately for GODSENT, the cash flow is basically going to stop here. If they were to force up now and lose that round, then it would really knock them into a bad economical situation. So they're just going to have to go for the P250 and minimal upgrades on
If only we could get like the Meerkat to pop up every time he did like a decent kill or something. It would be just beautiful. But we are going to see Fix, Philin pushing into this site. It is just pistols this time trying to defend. They've done a bit of damage. Actually, a couple of things coming in now. Make that 3. And Simple still closing things down. The remainder of the players are going to try and take a couple more down. We've seen Schneider find one already. Simple going to take one more back. A double kill for him. Crush going to go down as well. Villain maybe falling as well. And now that's actually 3 kills already for Schneider. Looking for a 4th, and he takes Simple down to 3 HP. Nice amount of damage with the pistols, but worse players will still come out on top.
I love seeing Schneider come out as an absolute monster there. The fact that he gets those 2 kills in itself is still impressive. Almost finding the 3rd, but it's not meant to be. And with that now, coming off of an eco, still some decent damage done to the T side. Now we have to see what kind of investment we'll be looking at here. Are they forced onto a double save, or was that round enough? No, it wasn't. So they're actually going to have to go for the full double save here. Still up to rating pistols this time, probably rounding out the plays around the 2K mark. And then focusing on round number 7, which is where they're actually going to be able to get their guns into their hands once more.
Yeah, possibly a decision to go, rather than with a force, to go for the actual AWP, because I feel like that could have a huge impact. I just question whether it'll be Twist or Schneider picking up. Lecco can actually play AWP. In the past, he was playing it, I think, on one of the lower level teams, but Fillon going to be finding the first kill into this round. It should be an easy round for worse players. However, the last should have been as well, and they took an awful lot of damage. Fix will find a kill into this round as well, entering once more. And, well, this is just a slow round coming out from worse players. They're letting the CTs push around and just find these kills nice and easily.
So Arch has positioned himself up by Party there. He's going to stick around as the rest of GODSENT are waiting for an A hit to come in their direction, but it's not going to be the case. The worst players right now are just waltzing out onto the B bomb site. They're going to be met with no resistance whatsoever. That's like full control. This round's essentially already done for. Twist even trying to get this flank line up against Arch, but he misses all those deagle shots despite the fact that he's standing still. Arch now just trying to take him down. He might end up being overwhelmed here by Schneider in a second, and in fact he is, so there's something to get away with in this round at the very least for the guys on GODSENT, but ultimately this is going to be a round that the worst players take with class.
Yeah, they've just read this pretty well. After the initial aggression, you normally take those sort of aggressive pushes towards the 8 side, so they moved their way towards B. Didn't see anybody in an upright position and just basically found the round very, very easily. However, Schneider has managed to grab himself an AK, of course, after a double save. This a little bit of extra saved economy will be nice for their team if they can bring that into the next round. The remaining players don't have a huge amount to play with, and actually, we are seeing a pause. I imagine that's going to be technical. I doubt that it would be tactical this early on. I feel like that's a little bit too much, but you never know.
Yeah, this, fun fact, I believe this is the first pause that's been called in the entire set, regardless if it's technical or tactical.
Yeah,
Neither of these teams have ever thought themselves in a good position to take a pause.
The glasses.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I like it, and well, the crowd really has started to build up now. This is the 3rd and final map, and well, one of these teams, either another Ukrainian, will be through. We're definitely going to have one, as Navi and Hellraiser's face. Well, I suppose it's an EU team, but there's some Ukrainian players in there. We got Angel and Bondik, so you know, it's basically some of the others I think have the same number, but that's still called a Ukrainian team. Like Navi's called Ukrainian. I think they have 2, right?
Don't they sort of just represent them? They're just like a CIS team, I thought now. Like,
I thought they still had the flag.
No, I'm pretty sure they fought a CS flag game.
We'll see. We'll see.
You'll see in the next one. Like 90% sure they use a CIS flag game. Like the org is Ukrainian.
Oh, okay. Well, I suppose
As
that
far
adds
as I
to
know.
it then. Well, there was the nice play coming out from Pronex, just getting that bomb in the last second. We didn't actually see how close that was.
That was
that
crazy.
shot again, absolutely wonderful from Simple, and he follows it up with another kill as well. So it wasn't just that kill; he did a lot of work throughout. Fix. I actually remember this kill on just a spray down, but we are just waiting. Possibly some technical issues. We don't actually know. We haven't seen the in-game chat in a while, so it could be absolutely anything at this point, but I just feel like it'd be ridiculous.
Live.
And we are live, so back into the game. We are seeing a full buy from both teams. Schneider actually the one picking up the AWP, skimping on head armor, but it's not particularly going to matter. He doesn't have anything really to face off against him that would kill him, or not kill him if he didn't have the head armor. So we do have the push coming up. They're slowly taking over the middle area, but haven't actually gained too much as of yet. Perona's going to peek out. Fix will take him straight down, but Schneider going to be trading Simple out instantly, so it is a 1-for-1 trade. We're going to see that push coming in, almost taking down Schneider, but he gets around the corner and survives with that AWP. And now, well, it looks like the T's are actually starting to fall back here. GodTwist going to be spotting that out and finds one. Doesn't manage to get the second. And just quick trades at the moment coming in from worse players.
It's kept even, however. Still 3 versus 3. With worse players not really having a whole lot of control, this is where it's going to get tricky for them. GODSENT as well have to make a tough decision as to how exactly they want to split the remaining player base up. They've sent Lekro down to the B-bomb site to get ready to defend here, and he's going to be the main point man, as it looks like this is where the worst players are shifting their hit towards. Whereas on looking at the rest of GODSENT's players, I believe Palf is placed up on the site itself, back by Semi. And as for Schneider, obviously, he's pushed out towards the bathroom, so...
That will give a sound cue, though. Surely he must have heard that, and we can already see the rotation starting to come in from behind. Schneider going to be pushing all the way around. May just come up behind them as well. So opening that door really did give away quite a bit of information. We can already see all of the players slowly getting towards the side. That Molotov is going to bounce off and land in the air, so that's not going to slow down the player in heaven at all. We're going to see the spray coming out, and it will be 2 quick kills for the CT side, and that will be the round done and dusted. And, well, I know that opening a door can't really be helped on occasions. They didn't have too much time left, but that really did just give all the information that was needed to GODSENT.
They do still manage to get a plant, so I imagine they're going to have a decent scrub of cash left over here to go for another buy in the next round, considering what they've accomplished previously. But as for the guys on GODSENT here, they are right back onto the train, keeping themselves close and tight with the members of worse players, wanting to make sure that they don't lose this lead. They don't lose a big disadvantage as well. So we do indeed have another buy coming in for the T's. 4 AKs, and still and simple, full buy for everybody.
Well, talking about the actual map itself, we normally see this being quite a CT-sided map, but with both of these teams currently hitting all their shots on the T side, don't really see much of them as CT prowess, especially on maps like Mirage, where normally you would see it. May just come down to these T-sided rounds, so if GODSENT can rack up quite a few of them, well, we'll see what worst players actually have. We haven't seen them play this map before. Not even sure we really saw Simple play it too often. I can't specifically remember them playing Overpass or a memorable map anyway, but we are going to see that slow push coming into the connector area. Nobody really defending around that area from the CT side, not gone that aggressive, so going to be flashing in. They're just going to get this map control for free. We're going to hear Palf, I think, hearing the flashbang and just getting a little bit, well, panicky, just having a look around, seeing if he can spot anyone out. Do have some aggression coming in towards Long. That's going to be Pronax just trying to find out some information, and the boost coming in to try and spot out somebody, but there really isn't anybody aggressive on the B side. It's all over towards A, where the aggression is coming out, and a possible flank to come in on to fix. The missed shot going to come out from Simple, not going to be able to find that entry kill, but Pronax with the flank will find one. This means that he will be able to soon work out where this push is going, and the B side seems to be the position they're actually aiming for. Lekro going to be throwing out the flashbang. He's had some big plays on the CT side, yet to really see him in this game, but he is going to be staying alive at least. Twist going to be finding one. Quick trades coming in either side, but it looks like the T's have come out slightly on top in terms of how the round was initially going, with Pronax already finding an initial kill. So, 2 versus 2, AWP on Schneider. Pronax going to be rotating in, and they're taking their time here. The bomb slowly ticking, low players on that T side, and it's going to come down to just the Angels here, and they've done this before, playing up close. Whether they can find these kills, we will have to wait and see. And straight away, Crush finds the headshot. It's going to come all down to Schneider. He does find the no-scope, looking for the second. Can he find it? Yes, he can! What a play from Schneider. 2 no-scopes in a row, and he will clutch this out. GODSENT bring it all square.
Schneider, nicely played by him. That's the big play we were seeing on map number 1. Stuff like that from him, which kept the members of GODSENT in contention to take control of this in a 2-0 set, but wasn't meant to be. Now we find him here on map number 3, and again, he finds himself doing very well in situations like that.
This was wonderful. The second shot as well. So quick to react. Headshot.
That's a headshot as well. No-scope headshot that he manages to connect it onto. So that's going to retie the scoreline up to 4 for both teams. And also it completely destabilizes the worst player's economy, because look at this buy they have going for themselves. They're basically buying out entirely here. Palf trades out after Fix finds the first kill. He's going to be able to hold and find a second. Look at the third. He's going to get it now with the fourth. The fourth one, just a single one-tap there on a Simple. Eliminates him. All that's left is Crush.
What? A big play coming out there from Palf, but how did nobody manage to trade that kill? He was stuck in the corner and just manages to spray out from all directions, finds that final shot onto Simple, and a 4K from him in the round. Absolutely wonderful stuff, and gives a huge amount of economy back over to GODSENT, which was something they desperately needed. And of course, it's reset the T's completely now.
So the only question is are they going to respect that and just save up for the next round because they really don't have a choice, or are they still going to want to try and continue to battle for the scoreline here? But it's not the case. Just upgrading pistols, nothing else beyond that, which means it should, in theory, be an easy closeout round for GODSENT. Although specifically Twist would have to watch for himself. He does fall back. Schneider almost connecting this early kill, brings it into 1 HP, trying to hit some players with the rock, but don't think it's going to be connected. That nade just off the mark. It's filling. But it's not going to find the 1 HP that's needed to take down Arch, as he just hid behind that wall.
We've seen mistakes come out on the CT side from GODSENT before, so waiting to see if they can finally crush one of these rounds. Just absolutely basically do what Zeus did in the previous, but Fix is going to find the entry kill initially. Simple going to be finding another one, and they just can't take these cleanly. Another kill coming in, and this is back to a 2 versus 2. These are the problem rounds. Palf going to be finding one more. He does seem to be one of the players stepping up today, one of the players who is the rock of the team, and finally he closes this one out, just saying, okay guys, we need to calm down, because it seems way too often the worst players are able to do a huge amount of damage with just some pistols.
That was happening, again, a callback to the first map was where that was happening a lot too. Eventually that fell off. GODSENT did learn how to counter that, but...
How did no one kill him?
Sometimes you just run into those situations. GODSENT, however, still back and now taking a lead. Finally a team as well with a semi-decent lead. 2-round advantage here, going against the worst players, but they're right back on another by themselves. And however, one of them's going to get pressured very quickly. There's Schneider. Nothing he can do about that. He's flashed and misses that first shot. He's left out in the open. Twist, though, with a good enough response. Pronax, I think, firing that way too early, giving himself away. His teammate scaring him a little bit, and Palf going to be able to hold this back up. Simple trades it. Palf's on the run, trying to get himself outside of the connector. Fixes up on the top too. But now with all this chaos going on, I think they're just going to try to rush over to the A-bomb site.
Yeah, this is going to come down a lot to what Twist can do. The initial peek didn't work out at all for Schneider. He got wrecked, and there we go, Simple, finding another kill into this round. He's on to his second. Palf has been the real response crew in this scenario. That Molotov's lovely and actually stops the plant initially, but it's not like there's a low amount of time. They've got plenty of time to reset their plant, and actually the plant here allows them to fall back a lot further. Actually gives them a great position, and Simple finding another one in the meantime. Third kill for him in the round. This is so many times already in this map. He's made some huge plays. He's going to peek out, and that's another quad kill. He is really dragging his team through this map so far.
Simple continues to dominate the playing field, but is he really the only one, though, that seems to be doing this? This is the same problem that we had back on that last map, too, where for a while he was like the main driving force for his team, and we just weren't really seeing some good performances from anybody else.
I'd love to see the scoreboard right now, because I think that's at least a triple kill and 2 quad kills or something like that, so his stats must be absolutely ridiculous, but the rounds really aren't sort of comparing to how things are going. However, on the other side, it seems to be Palf doing an awful lot of the work. We are going to be seeing skimpy buys coming in from both teams at the moment, and all back onto Schneider, but he didn't really do anything with that round. And actually, the position he took where he went aggressive is something I'd rather see Twist take, but this time, he does manage to find that entry kill. It's going to be Fix going down. And Simple now, a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and he's going to fall as well. Twist going with that 5-7, finding 2 kills and the bomb. And now Schneider going to find one more as Arch takes down Palf.
When GODSENT go in to crush down the offense, they absolutely destroy in just a few seconds there. And it's mainly going to come down to Schneider that does it this time, even finding that last kill with some class there, jumping his way back outside of Monster.
And he's actually topping the board at the moment.
Well,
Simple, well, apart from Simple, who's 18-7.
Yeah, I mean,
that's ridiculous.
That's the example I was talking about, though. We're like, all right, we're seeing Simple impact in big ways. It's like the second or third 4 kill he's gotten in the round before this one, or I guess it was 2 rounds ago now. But just no one else is really showing up to the table. It's all Simple, and this is like what people thought this team was going to be. It was like the Simple show with Simple's friends. And his friends not really impacting all that much. And we've seen them. Fix, specifically, has been like the guy that I've looked to the most, specifically on a T-side perspective, to try and impact and make sure that these guys still have something going for themselves. But he hasn't really showed up to this game, and neither has anybody else to make up for that.
They're going for another force buy, so they really are just sort of forcing their way through this one to try and just keep that economy low for the CT side. But the fact is, this is just not working out. These force buys have not worked at all today. We saw it work one round where they took down 3 players, but apart from that, it finally seems that something's come about. But Simple finds a second kill. If he can find a third, he will damage, but surely he can't. What? Twist not able to find the kill, and he's going to go for a third. There's 2 players left alive. Surely they can hit him for at least 8 HP, looking for it, and this time they gather up and don't make a huge mistake.
Simple was able to win all those because, A, he's on point with his aim. Those are some nice headshot kills that he keeps finding there. So he picks up 3, but I think the final 2 are very, excuse me, they're very smart about that, and they just peek that together to make sure that there's no chance that both of them are going to miss all their shots.
Yeah. But they only needed to hit 1 bullet. So a little bit disappointed that Twist wasn't able to find that kill. We do see Schneider back on the AWP. This time, we do finally see an eco coming out from worse players. A few pistols yet again. Well, I don't think we see a straight eco from them at all anymore. There's always at least a deagle onto Simple. I think he has that nearly every single round. But in this scenario, it feels like GODSENT have finally got their form back. Schneider going to be finding 1, Twist finding 2, looking for the third and finds it, but he will get dropped in the meantime. Pistols will do a bit of damage. 2 players dropped, but 9-5. And, well, 1 more round, and this has been a pretty good half.
And GODSENT definitely have the lead going for themselves, regardless of the outcome of this last one. It's definitely starting to look a little bit desperate here for the worst players. This was some good stuff from Twist, too. I mean, it's an eco, obviously, but Some nice play from the different angles. There's one, there's another one. All three of these kills being made from different angles. Had he flipped around on the 180 and gotten this other kill too, that would have just been that would have been some incredible stuff. But the three that he gets are impressive enough.
Actually, here we go. Schneider going for this peek again. It didn't work out the first time he did it. They're expecting it this time. And again, he's going to get rushed down. Crush is going to take down one more in the meantime. Fix does get the entry kill in this scenario, but that didn't work last time. Everything else seemed to be going fine when he was just playing more passively with the AWP. I think that's actually where he's better with the AWP. Twist, for me, is the more aggressive AWPer. And, well, the flashback, it was so expected. He's already done it. Loads of players play that exact position. Simple, however, will get traded out by Palf. As said, one of the players who has been stepping up in this game, Twist and Schneider were the other two, and they are both down and out at the moment. So a lot lies on his shoulders, unless Lecro, someone who has been very quiet so far this game, can come alive and try and take them this 10th round.
Pronax as well, just hiding himself back inside of the bathroom connector. Not going to want to poke out just as of yet. The worst players also still pretty split up. Haven't really decided on where they want to take this bomb and where they want to take this play towards. Despite some of the early damage they've managed to gain by punishing Schneider again, who's gone for that aggressive play, and that's like the second time now that he's been called out there to be a flashbang and a missed shot on the up. Not able to fall back because he just doesn't give it enough time. But they also eliminate Twist too. Pronax is being flanked though, and he doesn't even realize that if he continues down this path, he might be caught out in the open. I think he's just managed to avoid his opponents, but as soon as he peeks out there to party, Fix is going to punish him for that.
Also, the fake coming in onto the B side will hold a couple of players over there for a little bit longer. Fillin doing his job successfully. Doesn't manage to take anyone down, but they're going to have a free plant. The T players are going to be able to fall back to very passive positions, and I feel like this is going to be a very, very difficult retake. We've seen Lecro step up huge in retakes before, but a retake on the A side is a very, very difficult thing to try and attempt, and well, here we go. It looks like a 9-6, but can Lecro make something big? They're going to be pushing in, missing the spray. Fix now knows his position, actually takes down Palf in the meantime, and it's not to be. Crush, he backs up his teammate, and that's going to be a 9-6 half. Not bad for either of the teams, but it really does have to be said. It's down to worse players to show us that they can perform on that CT side.
Yep, and it's down to, I mean, if it happens to be, down to the Simple to continue his performance on the second half too. Someone else needs to step along with him to make sure that his team can impact properly.
Well, on the CT side, for me anyway, looking towards Arch. He has not been particularly good in the series today. We saw a little bit from him on the first map, but other than that, we really haven't seen him too much today. Of course, the second map, it did go well for them. We saw a step up from quite a few of the players, but now they've got to do it on a map that we don't know how well they can play. Here's some more just highlight reel of Simple. He's been absolutely phenomenal so far in this best of 3 even. And well, to be honest, even if they don't manage to win this game, I think this is a huge step for them as a team to just come into this and say, do you know what, guys? We're actually going to be competitive against big teams. Like, Virtus Pro are a name and a half to drop and say, okay, well, we took them all the way.
And with that, though, their time is slowly starting to fade away, as they are not going to be able to hold the advantage coming off of this first half here. Some good stuff being shown from Simple, but this is what we're talking about.
Every single highlight on their team has pretty much been from him, except this one, which isn't even that impressive, really. It's just a spray on a play walking the other way. This was nice from Schneider. This was a huge round as well for him to pick up. This was what brought it back, started the comeback. And as well, this from Palf was absolutely wonderful, just this spray down. Not quite sure how they didn't manage to trade that one. I feel like that was a little bit of their downfall in the half. Of course, they did come back towards the end, but by that point, well, a lot of the players have now gained some confidence, and going into the T side, this is where they're really going to need these players to step up as well. Like, Twist needs to continue hitting his shots, so does Schneider. And, of course, the best highlight of the game was...
I think it was slow-mo, too.
Slow motion clap.
All right, so getting into the second half now, as you can hear from the ticking, we are into it. The worst players have to strike first here. If GODSENT take control of things, then that's going to get out of control very quickly, especially considering they're now on the T side once again.
Yep, only one utility player coming in on this round, and that's going to be Fillin. The T's just going all-out armor. They're going to be going for those aim jaws, trying to take down the individuals. And the fact is, well, the only individual that's shown up so far for worst players is Simple, the one that's been named so many times. We're going to be seeing 2 players currently lurking, the other 3 pushing up long, and they've decoyed a few places. That is the only utility they've actually had, just to try and fake things out a little bit. And the B site actually looking pretty open. One player playing towards the back of site, up towards Heaven, so I'm not really sure where they want to be going for this one. Actually, it looks like a rotation already starting to be made, possibly getting a little bit skeptical as to the positions of the remaining players. It's actually a boost coming in as well on the B site, so there really is a bit more of a presence here, but the problem is the lurk all the way around at the moment coming in from Arch is going to spot out so much information, but it doesn't matter at the moment because they're already coming in onto the side. Twist going to be finding that first kill, making light work of Crush. Schneider going to be finding Simple as well, so no pistol prowess for him in this round. Fix looking to try and make something, but he's going to get taken down as well, and this is that pistol round that we were scared about, the one that could completely wreck them. And although they went for these amazing info plays from Arch, he's now the last player alive as all of his teammates have fallen.
Arch trying to line something up, but he's not going to find anything at all. Lekro takes him down, and GODSENT win the pistol. Keep their lead going, 10-6 now, as we start off the second half. And the response from the worst players here, are they going to aggressively buy up, or are we just going to see them waiting to save again? Looks like Arch, he doesn't want to wait. He'll just go for the buy up, and the rest of the team is going to follow now as well.
Yeah, this does mean that there's a possibility that Simple won't be able to get that up early on, although he has only gone for a 5-7, not actually going for a deagle or anything more in this round, so it is going to be a light buy. Clearly they realize how important that AWP is going to be on Overpass, and it really, really is. We saw Snyder making some great plays, some aggressive peeks, finding info as well. This time they are just going to stack towards that B site, go very, very heavy, and at the moment, well, the slow long push with the rifles is always a smarter decision, and you actually look at the buy coming out from GODSENT, they really aren't taking any liberties here. They don't want to make the cash, well, not the way that you'd conventionally do it with the SMGs. They're just going to try and keep every single player alive, make sure they can't lose any rounds.
So GODSENT, specifically Schneider, pushing his way through the connector now, still remaining grouped up for the most part towards the short A push. But the worst players have gone for the wrist stack back over down towards the B bomb site. Four of them hiding out here, hoping that GODSENT will come towards their direction, only leaving Simple to defend things back towards the A site. And he hasn't even invested into armor. He's the only one that hasn't gone for it. Just is picking up a 5-7 on his own. So if he's found out, he could find himself dead pretty quickly. Although Pronax is going to get tagged here early on as well, down to 52 HP. Down up by Simple, and that's immediately going to call for some rotations down from the B site.
This is another thing we have to mention about all those rifles, is that they have actually skimped quite heavily on the nades, so they can't actually force him out of position with anything other than smokes, which, well, he can just sit in those. So that is the one limitation, but he's actually just running straight into the crosshair of Snyder, completely give away that frag. Phelan going to be playing over towards the truck. He will stay alive for a little bit, but Twist will take him down as well, and it just looks like at the moment, GODSENT, they're just using their aim. They're using the aim jewels. They know that at the moment they're on point, and the opposition are not, so they're just going to take down these players at long range, not going to give them any chance. Now they're just going to fall back and guard the bomb from very far away.
GODSENT have this round. 11-6 will be the scoreline after this one. Crush and Fix. Unfortunately, not a whole lot left for them to do, so it's time to save for round number 3.
Yeah, we've seen them do damage with pistols before. They really do need to do some damage, because keeping 5 rifles alive every time, even without extra sort of kill bonus from the SMGs, is going to give them a nice amount of money, especially if they don't have to rebuy at all. And then going into the point where it's 12-6 and lots of money for GODSENT, this is the problem I sort of worried about, where as I haven't seen this map, like, their CT setups haven't been good, particularly on, well, they were okay on Cobblestone, but that was mainly down to when they got the AWP and Simple just started hitting those shots, finding those sort of entry kills to the round or the initial kills to the round, and then it sort of came down to just a 4 versus 5 situation, whereas on this map, we haven't seen that AWP yet. We haven't seen any sort of initial kill coming in, allowing them to get into these 5 versus 4s, and because of that, they've just sort of got crushed. Obviously, this isn't a buy round yet, but they'll have to get onto it very, very quickly. And, well, Simple going to be going for a 5-7 again. The remaining players keeping what they had, and everybody else just sticking with the USP, so they really are saving a lot of money for their buy.
Crush, though, is going to get aggressive this time, pushing his way all the way up to the back of long A. And I'll hope he can catch Pronax or maybe someone else that decides to peek out there. Just going to be holding that position for now, but may not be obliged anytime soon. For the rest of these guys, they're going for the stack again, and that's actually going to be a perfect pop flash. He spotted Crush. He can't take him down, though, and he's going to get dinked down to 19 HP. He doesn't know someone is there. Unfortunately, though, with him playing from this position, he can't really call for a rotation or anything like that, because obviously they were in like a default stack. There would still be players out here by playground.
Yeah, also, he doesn't know anything about the current situation towards middle, so it's kind of difficult to make that play. He will take down Pronax in the end, so at least something done with that CZ. It does take a little bit of extra rebuy potential for the GODSENT guys, but they still have 4 players left. Twist a little bit low, and at the moment, they are slowly pushing themselves towards that toilets area, and if they do push any further, they may eventually realize that there's nobody there, but it does look like they're now edging towards B side. This could be absolutely perfect if they go into the stack. However, they got, well, 30 seconds left to make their decision, and unfortunately it looks like at the last moment they've decided to go for A.
The problem is that like the usual wrap down to the other side after you've killed someone is a very typical move for a T team to make. And I think that they sort of like realized that their opponents realized that they would be doing that in a normal situation. So they've counted this out by doing something a bit more unorthodox, just going to walk into the A site instead. And they have managed to avoid the 4-man stack because of that.
They've mind gamed the mind game, is what you're trying to say.
Pretty
but
much.
We're going to see that push coming in now, a retake with pistols. As said, any damage here could make the comeback a little bit easier. We've seen the Ukrainian teams do some great comebacks so far in this set, all the way through the tournament actually. Flipside doing a great work, but not actually managing to finish it, and that's the main thing. At the moment, the pistols really aren't able to achieve very much. Of course, if Fix can save his armor, that would be something. Of course, the CZ can be kept, possibly to give it to Simple or something along those lines, along with his AWP. So either way, they are going to be coming in with a big buy, but now they're 6 rounds down. This is where we need to see how those CTs are going to step up and how their setups are actually going to work.
So for the GODSENT guys, they've managed to get through those first 3 rounds. Bit of a slower style of play, but they managed to pull it off. Now for Simple and the rest of these guys who will be able to invest into the op. He will not be able to buy armor behind it though because of these 5-7 investments that he's chosen to go for over the past couple of rounds.
And it was sort of questionable as well, because I don't think he particularly did very much with the 5-7 either. He got a dink or 2, but that was about it. But now we are going to see him self-boost onto that upper position. However, the push already coming in towards that B site. 4 players now gathered up. 1 player currently just rotating away, and that is Schneider just taking his time. They're already taking that entry kill. Palf going to find one. He will get traded out, so no 4K for him in this round. And this is where the push is going to come in, and Schneider is nowhere to be seen. Same, still 2 players over towards that A site. So if they were to go aggressive here, they may have an easier time. They do actually have 1 player pushed up very, very far. That is Fix, ready to try and find one of these kills. But so far, well, you always say that an entry kill is always better, even if it does get traded out for the T side, because they can split the defense slightly easier and just push together as a team and always have a man advantage.
Twist hiding himself back behind construction now, but nobody from the worst players is going to oblige to any of this aggression. Crush has already been heavily injured after his first duel with Palf, and not only this, but they've lost Fillin. So they're not in the best position right now to defend either of these bombs, so they cannot really afford to get aggressive. Fix is in a position to the right here. Pronax maybe not be expecting this as he creeps out. Spots it initially. Fix spots it too, though. And the response coming in from both teams, but Pronax is going to have to fall back behind Monster. 35 seconds up to the clock. These guys do need to find a way into the site soon. And Pronax on a 10 HP. Thankfully, though, he gets the assistance from Lekero. Now the site's open wide.
1 player remains. It's going to be the man himself, Simple, and he does get taken down with nothing achieved. And now the bomb going to go down comfortably. Only 20 seconds left, but 20 seconds is more than enough for them to plant that bomb. And now, while the remaining 2 players, they have to make a decision whether they're going to go for the save or whether they are going to try. And I feel like there's no point in trying at this point. There's no way that they're going to be able to retake that site with 3 players waiting. But Schneider, he could actually crush their situation even more if he can just take down, well, Crush.
Schneider creeping his way through now, looking for Crush. He's checking around the flank, watching to make sure nobody peeks him, but is he actually going to go inside of the bathrooms? And that seems to be the area where he's not going to check at the moment. Crush, though, may be able to line himself up on his own flank to take down a couple of these guys, but it doesn't actually look likely. He's just hiding inside of the bathrooms. He's going to peek out, maybe, but the problem is that everybody from GODSENT has already passed him by this point. So if he does peek out, he really won't be able to find anything. And I think he wants to focus more on actually keeping this AK for the next round.
13-6. This is where we sort of see what we were worried about a little bit, where GODSENT clearly are better practiced on this, possibly having some sort of pause because they have actually taken off all their headsets, so I imagine that may be the case.
I think before they faded to the player cam, someone called for a pause, so I would believe this would be the worst players now, trying to figure out exactly how they're going to hold now on the CT side.
And this was the major problem. I knew that they could take rounds on that T side, but they didn't really get that many, considering it was all just Simple. And the problem is, if you do have 1 player that can do that, you can even see that in something as wild as matchmaking, where you could have 1 player that can do whatever they want on the T side. They could win 10 rounds, they could win 11 rounds. If you don't have a good setup or teamwork, it makes absolutely no difference. And so far, it just looks like, well, GODSENT, they're not even playing particularly good strategies. They're just walking in and taking off the heads of all the remaining players.
Wrecking them, essentially.
Yeah.
In layman's terms.
Just no real, like this, it's just too easy. That's the problem. They're not actually having to throw anything into the mix. So we've just seen well, especially on like the pistol round, they didn't buy any nades. They just walked onto the site and took the headshots. They then have had the bomb down pretty much every single round, waiting. They find the entry kill nearly every single time, and then it just gets back. We either gets to them with an advantage or a 4 versus 4, which still leaves them in a decent position. So it really is something that needs to be changed. And well, we saw that AWP come in onto Simple, but he didn't sort of take that aggressive role, which I feel, as the individual who is making the difference, he has to sort of be making. He didn't go for that aggressive peak. He didn't really try anything in these scenarios. And, well, we actually have, just above, we have some Hellraiser stuff being thrown out to the crowd from Bondic.
You can see the frustration sort of on the faces right now of the players from worse players, is sort of sitting there and listening, really, not even really talking amongst themselves all that much. That was a mad scramble. Look at that. Oh my goodness.
The riot for the flags. But those will be waved later on.
I heard. Hi, by the way. You can see we're under the umbrellas. What's up?
Yeah, I was hoping that cam wouldn't come in because that looks dreadful. But yeah.
I mean, but getting back to the point here, here's the thing now, is that like the scoreline's really working against them. This is a team that has not been together for very long, so I don't imagine there's like an extremely strong bond between some of these guys. Like I don't know a whole lot about the history, and with that said, when you look at these guys overall, without that bond being formed between these players, and without them really having a long-standing history, that could lead to some very very big issues popping up very quickly in matches that aren't going in their direction. Like it needs to be very momentum-based. This happens a lot with North American teams too, that are sort of like high-level Premier or low-level Pro League, where they don't get themselves going started very well. I mean, even CLG has this kind of a problem where they don't get the ball rolling right at the beginning, and this causes a whole lot of team communication issues and whatnot. Everybody starts getting frustrated with everybody else in the team, and then with that, you can never really make a comeback on it.
Well, something else about sort of NA was mentioned quite a bit, with the fact there's a huge amount of talent, but not a huge amount of leaders. And that's the other thing, that this is where a leader for worse players would be absolutely perfect. I'm not actually sure if who the in-game leader is for this team, and either way, he won't have a huge amount of control over everything, but Arch is going to go up aggressive. He'll find himself the initial kill of the round, so that's a nice start. Lekro will quickly trade one back, so it is going to be a 4 versus 4, and see, that makes the sort of push not so worth it anymore, especially when it was one of the only rifles they had in play.
Yep. Now just looking at Simple with the only one still armed up. Crush, Fix, and Fillin just working with P250s, a Deagle, and a 5-7 on Crush. It's done enough damage, however, to cause GODSENT to all of a sudden slow their roll by a huge degree. They're just moving as the 4-man unit all the way through the bathrooms inside of it now. Looking for a push through short A. Doesn't look like they're going to be using long A all that much. Lekr may stick back to watch for a flank, but that seems to be about it, as it's going to be a pretty direct push into the A bomb site, leaving Simple now as the point man to defend things. But if there was anyone that was going to do it, it should have been him, but he's going to fall to Palf as well, leaving these guys not with a whole lot left to defend the site.
This is getting towards the sort of factor that we saw with Flipside, where the chance for the 2-0 was there. They didn't manage to take it, and because of that, they're now going on to a third map that they're not particularly good at. Filling possibility for a kill here. We'll find one, so doing a bit of damage, but it does look like GODSENT are firmly in control of this map, and it's sort of going to get to a point of what ifs with this tournament in general. Like, what if this team had got through Flipside, could have beaten out Na'Vi? Many things could have happened, but it seems that each time the more experienced team, or the team with the better players, seems to come out on top.
Pronak's going to be able to stop Crush from doing any more damage at the end of the round, and there will be another one stacked up for the GODSENT players. 14, 2 more away from taking control of the set and moving on to the next phase.
Yeah, and that is going to be, well, whoever they do face, it's going to be a tough matchup. Na'Vi are the favorites, of course, of the whole tournament, so Hellraisers really are going to have to make some big plays, but it does look like they've got a lot of fans in the crowd. Both teams, I think it's going to be a hell of a game. Both teams have a lot of fans, and well, it's going to be a good one to watch, but by the looks of it, it's going to be them versus GODSENT, worst players. They're going to have to come with some more of that sort of Ukrainian magic, but actually be able to close it out if they can get all the way back, because that was the main problem on the first map. They came all the way back and didn't manage to do anything, and Schneider just having a little look at the balloons.
GODSENT, you're expecting something desperate here, as you could tell. They only really sent one player out from the upper tunnels. They were actually waiting for someone to be posted up either outside of long A or pushed up from short A through the lower park. They haven't found anyone, so they'll be able to resume the normal push now. But you can tell that despite the fact that they have this huge lead, they're still being very cautious about the way that they approach their game plan.
But it's simple watch. That's it. And you haven't actually noticed, so he dropped 22 frags in the first half. Second half, he has 0. So that pretty much exactly explains why now they're getting dominated. Twist is going to be finding that first kill. Simple is back on the AWP, but again, he's playing very, very passively, and that's not what we saw in the first half. He was going for these aggressive pushes, taking these crazy plays, taking down the whole team, and now he is just sitting back, and it just means it leaves it to everyone else, and everyone else is just not performing at the moment, and the long push going to be coming in, the bomb slowly rotating away. Simple going to be coming back over with that AWP. They do have a player up close. That's going to be Arch, and he's going to have to make a big play in this round if they do push from the toilets area. And it does look like Twist is actually coming from there, and we can actually see a double orb on that T side, so they really are just playing that pick play. They know that they're winning the Angels in the majority of circumstances. Simple will manage to find one though, not going to find anything else, so no god play from him, and actually a missed shot from two players actually means that Arch does take down one. Pronax will end up trading. Twist going to be finding the tag onto Philin as well. This is all but done, I think. Twist going to find one more, and it's now all down to Crush, someone who has not had a particularly good game. They're going to do a little bit of damage, but there's no way he's making this retake.
Yep. Time to save, because you're going to be going on to that last round, and you do not have a whole lot of money to fight it back off. GODSENT are now in full control of Overpass here. Worst players. This was not the map for them to want to go to. And I imagine that in future events, we will be seeing them banning this out, because nothing seemed to be working out well for them.
Or practice it. That's the other thing. They're a very, very new team. So
it just seems like most of these players don't even really feel comfortable playing on this map right now. I mean, we already went over just how dominant Simple was on the first half, but that was it. And even coming into the second half now, we're not seeing as much from Simple, and we still haven't seen anybody else step up to make up for that.
Yeah, and well, this is pretty much the exact same scenario we saw with the Flipside Na'Vi game. It's exactly the same, where the first two maps were very, very competitive. Well, the first two, not so much with the first map with Flipside actually winning that dominantly, but the second map, incredibly competitive. We were thinking, oh my god, the third map in this series is going to be insane, and it's just been probably one of the most anticlimactic things I've ever seen. It's just, unfortunately, Simple can't carry on the CT side, and that's not his fault, but he needed someone to step up with him, and it just hasn't happened, and now I feel like they're in free fall. It's just everything not going their way. We are seeing some aggression coming out at the moment. Really, they need the fans to rally behind them here, but Lekro going to be finding the initial kill in this round again, and of course it will be Simple. The Molotovs are going to do a nice amount of damage as well to the CT side, and they're already boxed out of the site. The bomb going to be going down. Going to need to do a retake without their star man, and I think he's only had one kill in this whole half.
Everybody's been boxed out of the site now. Fix, Crush, Arch, Philin, all looking for ways back in. They've even got somebody lined up to come in as a late entry to flank these players as they move in through construction as well. Like, we're firing out, that does give away his position, so Philin should be able to find this kill, but all Philin has is a UMP, and he's even being cautious now of the flank. There comes Schneider, though, who was sitting outside of the tracks before. Now he's trapped these guys in. Twist, Pronax finding 2 more kills, but that is just on Fix, and that's going to be the end of it. GODSENT close out, and it's going to be a 16